Welcome back, Let's Players. It's time for part 2 of episode 8 for Let's Play Fire Emblem. It even kind of surprised me, because, well, how short it was, because apparently I got cut off before I could finish what I was going to say. So, well, I was just about to say goodbye, really, but not that it really matters anymore, because I'm done. That episode and starting this episode. Okay, so in this episode, or this part of the episode, I said I was gonna give you like more plot information, I guess, or you know, a big hint of foreshadowing from that house over there, just you know, above Florina. But I decided not to, and I was going to save that for when you already knew what was going to happen next time I do the tutorial getting ready for Hector's mode. But, you know, maybe you'll know what I was talking about later on. It's mostly about the two characters I didn't take along, Matthew the thief, and Sarah the cleric, because I happen to not really like clerics, and I didn't need a thief for this match. But you did get a nice new character, Lucius. He's, you know, a typical glass cannon. I'm not sure if I already explained his specific stat growth, but he tends to have a really, really good magic, and a really good speed, and a really good resistance, so he's a, like, massive magic tank, and can destroy shamans and other, you know, monks and mages on his own really easily. But he also has a really bad defense. He has a defense growth of about 10% chance every time he levels up, and he starts with 1. So, essentially, he's a glass cannon. He can blow the crap out of people, but if they come to fight him, he's screwed. Like, out of his mind. And Nils doesn't fight at all, so you don't particularly need to care about his stat growth. The only thing that's, you know, necessary to know is he normally ends up with maybe about 20 health if he's a level 7, which is what I normally get him to in Hector's run. And he has a really good resistance and speed, so if you want someone, and he has an all-right skill to, no, not skill, that's just for hitting, but yeah, he has a good resistance and speed, so if you want someone to, say, make, like, take all the bolting, so that your other units don't get plowed, then Nils is a good, you know, target for them. But you also have to watch out if you send him too far in, because maybe this rogue cavalier or something is going to kill him. Which would be really bad, obviously, because he's a main story line character. Okay, so here the boss. I think I already said that last episode, but I didn't fight him. The boss is the shaman in this one, except this shaman also has a pretty decent speed and defense, which only makes it harder because he's hiding in a gate, so the gate is one of the best, like, territory bonuses ever. It gives a little more healing than a fort, and a void of 20, I think. Or maybe it's 30 and defense of 2 or 3. I keep forgetting. I'll have to check eventually, but anyways, the gate or the throne, they're seen as the best, which is why the bosses are always on. There's a couple of exceptions for bosses not on a throne. One map where you have to defend a throne, so he can walk around wherever the boss can walk around wherever he wants, which is a bit problematic. And also, any map with, most maps with Kushuna in them, who's someone we'll meet later on, and I'll explain later there. He's really, really strong, like, he has maybe 50 health and 20 speed and really good resistance and defense, so they don't put him on a throne or else he'd be almost impossible to kill. But I kind of hate those, you know, you get hit when they've got a chance to hit of like 30, and you miss when you have a chance to hit of like 90. That happens a lot to me for some reason. But hey, it makes a good video, because I get mad, kinda. the weapons triangle for magic. Fire and animal magic doesn't do very good against dark magic, but most of your mages, since they're always way stronger than any of your enemies, they have a tendency to not really be bothered by that, because they have a high enough resistance they get almost no damage anyways, and a high enough skill they hit almost all the time anyways. But I'm still gonna run Earth back so he doesn't, you know, die. That would be really bad. Actually, no, it's not that bad for the tutorial. And my brother's kind of a creeper. I don't really want to explain it, but he's a creeper. They're kind of creepy too, I find, every time a boss is a shaman. There's another one a little bit later on in Elwood's Tale, but he's still kind of creepy too. They tend to not have any faces. So this is the sad bit where you're a little worried, and then you meet a character who's gonna be really, really strong later on, and also the main character. He's Elwood, in case you can't read, or, you know, didn't read it, I guess. Anyway, so that's the end of the combat, right? Obviously, or else I would have, you know, been fighting more, but anyways, that's the end of the combat for part 2. Now it's just sort of a cutscene, introducing Elwood and explaining just some other random things. And also, it brings about our first side quest, which should show up later on. I'm not sure what happens if you don't get the side quest, because every time I've done it, every time I've done Lynn's story, I've done the side quest. To get it, you have to beat the level in under 15 turns, but anyways, I think what happens is you might not get the ring later on in Elwood's mode, which is a really good ring. It gives plus 10 to defense when you use it for 1 turn. And you can, well, you can dance or play for anyone, and then they get the bonus. Unfortunately, if you use a ring, you don't get the normal bonus of they get to move again, so you have to keep that in mind so you don't, you know, dance for someone when they don't have a turn, and then they just waste the big bonus. So Ninian and Nils join you, but just so that you can't, or you won't, you know, play, make them play and dance for each other all the time, you only get one at a time through convenient storyline things like Ninian twisted her ankle, Nils gives up his power to Ninian, Ninian dies. That was a big spoiler, but maybe you've already played the game, or else you wouldn't have heard of this. Okay, so yeah, this is just accepting the side quest. The problem is, if you don't accept a side quest, you lose tactical rating, but they're really tough sometimes. Not really. Not for me, though. I find they're really easy for me. Anyways, so, Alex, that Gamer Mexican, signing out.